Star Trek Enterprise. We're back with the series because obviously there's no new Trek going on. So we're going to check out Star Trek Enterprise Shadows of P'Jem. And this one, in like retrospective, I have mixed feelings about. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into the video. So the episode opens up with the Vulcans being angry about what happened to P'Jem. In case you didn't know what happened to P'Jem, the Vulcans had a secret spying station to spy on Andorians. P'Jem was destroyed. No one was killed, but the Vulcans are blaming Enterprise and blaming T'Pol. It's an interesting thing because Starfleet's standing up for Archer. And it's very, very much sort of placed as the Vulcans shouldn't have been doing what they were doing. And I'm glad that Starfleet's actually standing up here. It's a little less, I want to say, Starfleet sort of pandering to the Vulcans, which I like, finally. They talk about Archer being impulsive and how he's destabilized the sector. Their joint fleet operations are cancelled. And then we are into the opening credits. And yes, we have Faith of the Heart. It's one of those things. It's only, I think, about 46 minutes long. But like you watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds and it's like fast paced. There's no breathing room. This episode has a huge amount of breathing room and a huge amount of weird little things in it. And it's one of the first episodes of Enterprise Season 1 where I'm a bit like, this could be done in any era of Star Trek, except the racist Vulcans. Just trade them out. Archer's joking with Trip about how he's not going to take him on an away mission. And it's very clear that Archer is joking and Trip gets really sensitive about it. And these little Trip and Archer moments, I sort of miss them. Because they're meant to be best friends. It's the same with him and Hoshi. It's like their relationship after the pilot sort of falls away. It still happens a little bit, but like this episode, it's a bit like, I don't understand why they don't do more of this. P'Jem's destroyed. He tells T'Pol, or Archer tells T'Pol, and there's a really cool shot of like the window. I don't know why they didn't do that more often. And T'Pol obviously feels guilty. She feels like it's all her fault. And she finds out that she has to leave Enterprise because she is being essentially blamed for the whole thing because they can't target Archer, which is it's a thing that politicians do. It's sort of, well, we can't get you, so we'll just hit you. We'll hit you where it hurts as far as we can. And it's, once again, the Vulcans in Enterprise are very emotional for people who are not meant to have emotions. Obviously, we find out way later that there's a reason. When they go to this planet, they're meeting with the government, and Archer decides he wants to take T'Pol along because he wants to spend a little bit of time getting to know her. Well, not getting to know her. He wants to spend a little bit of time sort of spending time with her. And to be fair, getting to know her is kind of the thing because it's only midway through season 1. And it's like you kind of barely know each other and you've been very antagonistic this whole time. Like there has been sort of a push for their relationship, particularly in this episode. We'll get to it. But he wants to spend this time with her. They want to go down to the planet and meet this government. And then they are fired upon and their shuttle is crashed onto the planet. Phlox also talks about, when he's talking to T'Pol, he talks about how other Vulcans have been posted to Starfleet ships and they haven't lasted as long as her. So she's a little bit more, I want to say, dedicated to the cause. And also, you can tell she's a bit different from most Vulcans anyway. I have 5 pages of notes. Like it's an episode which has a lot of little moments that I want to point out. It's a weird thing. The crew planning a going away party. They're going to planet Kurd or Cord. T'Pol also shows an interest in spending time with Archer as well. They've developed a bond. I don't know whether this early it should have been that strong. They're captured, tied up, put into this bunker. And when the rebels come in, T'Pol says that Archer is the cook and she is the captain, which is, I kind of get it. Like, I don't think it really makes a difference, but I kind of get it. Archer gets smacked in the face because Scott Bakula likes being smacked in the face and having blood on his face. It's actually one of the things I like about him. He likes that continuity of sort of being hurt. So He's got the blood on his face pretty much the whole time. So the government of the planet didn't tell them that there's a rebel faction who fight against them. The government of the planet is funded by the Vulcans. We find out, and they're very, very close. We later on find out something about the rebels as well. Trip is understandably very, very angry at the government for not even telling them that this was a possibility. And the government sort of apologizes and talks about how it's being a small thing. And then we start discovering more about this society. Enterprise starts as its search by itself. Archer and T'Pol try to get out, and they roll over and they fall over and they're trying to undo their ropes. We go into more talk of T'Pol feeling guilty about Pajem and how it was her fault she led Enterprise there. It's her fault for not stopping them when she could. And Archer sort of goes, well, no, that's bullshit. The Vulcans did what they did. Like, you can't blame that all on you. They were the ones in the wrong. And it makes sense. It's true. I don't really get, like, it is kind of her fault, to be fair. So as they're trying to escape, they fall over, they're talking, they fall over. And then we get one of the many scenes where they just inappropriately use T'Pol when they fall over and T'Pol falls on top of Archer with her boobs in his face. Now, T'Pol being used in a weird sexual manner is half the problem with Enterprise in terms of how, like, I think T'Pol is a super interesting character. She has drive, her interest in humanity, sort of a precursor to Doug. We love Doug here. And she's one of the best characters in the show, but they constantly reduce her to some sort of sexualization and also some sort of romantic inkling between her and Archer, which they kind of hit on again a couple of times, but overall it just seems really out of place to sexualize one of the only two females in the show, and particularly because Jolene Blalock has a certain look about her, they just go for it's like cheap sexualization. It's not even she's sexy like a Janeway. She's sexy because she's tough and because she's got a sort of I can do anything vibe. They just make her so she falls over and his boobs are in Archer's face. It's wildly just like, this is terrible. Very, very Rick Berman, Brannon Braga, TNG era Trek. Well, TNG era Trek end of, like with 7 of 9. Although 7 of 9 managed to get through that, I feel like T'Pol was never really allowed to. And it just really detracts from the episode. It comes across as cheesy because they're having an in-depth talk about their feelings and their emotions, and then it happens. And then they go back to more serious stuff. And it's just like, there's no need for that. There was no need for him to fall on her and her boobs to go in his face. Not at all. A Vulcan ship comes up while Trip and Malcolm are discussing some sort of rescue plan. It's called a Navarre, which is interesting. Navarre must mean something in Vulcan because it's used in Star Trek Discovery as well. So as the renaming of Vulcan. So the starship Navarre comes, they ask where Archer is, and Trip has to confess that they've been abducted by rebels. And the Vulcans try and take over. And obviously these are Enterprise Vulcans, so they're a bit snarky bitches. And they basically say they're going to take it over. T'Pol is one of their people. That's the way it's going to be. They also get an ultimatum from the leader of these rebels about how they want all these weapons. And Trip sort of like, people keep cutting him off. The Vulcan captain comes aboard and basically says, no, you guys can't help us. Trip actively lies that he doesn't know where they are. So the Vulcan captain leaves, and they're obviously planning their going ahead. Trip obviously decides he's going to go, and the mission is afoot with Malcolm and Trip. Archer and T'Pol tried to escape. They kicked a guard in the head, then they got caught again, then they got tied up again. So it's kind of pointless. Sort of feels like a little bit of padding too. While Tucker and Malcolm are on the ship, they're trying to get to the shuttlecraft because they want to go to the shuttlecraft. They get kidnapped by, and surprise for this episode, Commander Shran. Shran was in the Pajem episode. He's played by Jeffrey Combs, and he's one of the most beloved characters in Star Trek, or one of the beloved actors in Star Trek, playing tons of roles. And it's good seeing Shran again. It's always good seeing Shran again. He rescues them. They come up with a plan to break into the compound. He has a spy in there who leaves a communication device in Archer's food. Archer and Trip talk. And so they come up with this plan. The guard's going to let them out, And then the Vulcans storm the compound and sort of put a rush on that. So they get Archer and T'Pol out. The rebels are sort of knocked out. They're sort of a nothing burger. And then the Vulcans and the Andorians are standing face to face. One of the rebels wakes up, goes to shoot the Vulcan commander, and T'Pol jumps in the way of the phaser blast, which is amazing, to be honest, and saves the commander's life. The crux of the episode is they don't like each other at all. The rebels have links to the Andorians, the Vulcans have links to the main government, and this whole thing is it's trying to do a few things at once. When T'Pol's taken aboard the Enterprise, Archer makes this big statement about, she's my crew member, I'm going to take her back, we're going to fix her up. We cut to sickbay, Phlox is fixing her, she's unconscious. The commander comes in and goes, is she okay? The Vulcan commander. And Phlox goes, well, she took some pretty severe damage, she's going to be here for like 3 days. Archer does a beautiful speech on why she annoys him, but she also is beneficial to his crew, and how the Vulcan commander should go and talk to the council about leaving her stay. He says, no, I can't. But then changes his mind and he's going to. Then they wake T'Pol up. Clearly they were bullshitting. She wasn't that badly injured, but they're keeping her there for 24 hours. It ends on Archer sort of going, well, you can go catch him if you want, and T'Pol doesn't. Now, this episode's a few things. It's a sequel to one of probably the highest regarded episodes in Star Trek Enterprise, which is kind of sad because this one just seems bogged down by weird placement. Like, I get that it's interesting having the Vulcans trying to use T'Pol as a scapegoat. It's nice to have Archer trying to bond with T'Pol, but at the same time, they never hit that stride. And then we get that random sort of sexual moment and sort of, I want to say, sort of a really slow pace, and then in the last 10 minutes it fucking ramps up to shoot, bang, 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 this is all happening. Shran's there, but there's just that animosity, and we do get introduced to the indebtedness of Shran. He doesn't like to be in debt to anyone, so he feels that when he was given the pad to show Pajem had a listening station, that was from Archer, so he owed Archer something. Him saving Archer's life, he goes, well, my debt is paid. Which is it's an interesting concept, which actually plays out throughout the series. Anything with the Andorians is sort of linked in a weird way, which I really, really like. But once again, I think this episode is very sort of typical of sort of late TNG era, which is, it feels like there's a lot of story, but when you actually look at it, it's a lot of padding with a few ideas in it, particularly like the Vulcans being a bit off. And at this point in the series, you didn't know why they were like that. And the Vulcans being a bit off, and then that writing and having weird intimate moments with T'Pol and photographing her. Like, yes, T'Pol is a beautiful woman, but you don't need to photograph her ass all the time. You don't need to photograph, it's just a weird place that, Star Trek can be so progressive, but then it does shit like this, which is clearly some old man being a bit pervy, and it really sort of makes you uncomfortable. Not to say that T'Pol is always written this way, but particularly in episodes where she's sort of paired with another male, there's they just immediately want to create some sort of tension with her, and it's really weird. Overall, this is an okay episode. I feel like back in the day, this was actually high rated, but I don't know why, because the reason I stopped the Enterprise reviews is because this episode bored me after about 20 minutes, and I went, okay, well, Strange New Worlds are starting soon, I'm done. And then I sort of went back into it, and I watched half of it 2 days ago and half of it tonight, and it's still it's really slow until it's not. It's both has some good ideas, but they're done really sort of badly. It's sort of just a meh or a episode to me now, which is weird. It's a weird change because, I don't know, there's just something about it. It's not a very good sequel. It's not a very good episode. Other than having Shran in it, there's nothing really sort of exciting about this. And it very much feels like they sort of left the premise of Enterprise behind just to do an episode where they shove T'Pol's boobs in Archer's face. But yeah, what did you think about Shadows of Pajem? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Come back for more Enterprise reviews. We'll also be doing Enterprise, Animated Series, and Voyager with Ribbit 117. So make sure to subscribe.